Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. Thank you for joining me. We're going to get started with that severe weather that is threatening to upend the Thanksgiving travel rush. The U.S. is expected to see a record-breaking number of travelers this Thanksgiving as millions of Americans prepare to spend the holiday with family and friends. But a powerful storm system moving east over the next few days could create major issues during this already hectic time. It's expected to bring heavy rain and strong winds to the eastern half of the country. We have got your forecast with Michelle coming up in just a moment, but first we're going to get started with what travelers can expect in our nation's airports. We find NBC News reporter Julia Jester at Reagan National Airport with the latest on that. Julia, good morning. Happy almost Thanksgiving. Thanks for being with us. So what are airports expecting and how are they expected to be affected, but also how are they preparing?
Good morning, Savannah. As you just mentioned, there is a weather wonderland happening across the East Coast and other parts of the country that could really impact travel here in D.C. as well as other major airport hubs like Atlanta, Chicago, New York City, which has a travel warning due to heavy rainfall and winds, Chicago, and seeing some Midwest potential weather that could disrupt that hub. And airports across the country have been preparing for this travel surge for months. You might remember last winter, Christmas holiday season, airlines, especially Southwest, got into some deep trouble because they were vastly disrupted by weather. So airports across the U.S. have been investing in weather prediction technology as well as de-icing equipment. Airlines have also been beefing up staffing and training. The Federal Aviation Administration has been making sure that it has been training and recruiting air traffic controllers to really streamline the process to avoid delays and cancellations. Savannah.
Oh, yes, we all remember the great Southwest meltdown. Let's hope nothing quite that bad happens. So tell us, what can flyers do to try to help make their travel as seamless as possible? What should we keep in mind?
Great question. The airports, the airlines, TSA are all advising travelers to be prepared and be patient. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg had this message ahead of the busy Thanksgiving holiday travel season.
We want everyone to be prepared for changes due to weather, and travelers should be checking with their airline directly for the most up-to-date information about their flights, including any delays or cancellations.
And with these preparations that travelers can do, that includes everything from making sure that if you have TSA pre-check, that is indicated on your boarding pass, so there are no surprises when you get in line. It means taking those extra steps when you're packing to make sure that you're not packing anything in your carry-on that needs to be checked, because those little actions can really create a backup at the airport in terms of those security lines. And make sure you give yourself time to get to the airport early and have a backup plan to the backup plan, whether that is knowing alternatives for potentially driving or taking a train. Savannah?
I know TSA is expecting this to be their busiest holiday season ever, so little things like making sure your toiletries aren't in your carry-on and stuff like that can help us all. Julia, thank you very much. Happy holidays. Well, let's keep our Turkey Day travel coverage going with meteorologist Michelle Grossman, who's here with us. Hey, Michelle, good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Great to see you. And as Julia mentioned, we do kind of have it all. We have a big storm system. It's an impactful one today. We're looking at some wintry weather, some ice even, where you see the pinks and purples. Then we have some heavy rain falling from the Great Lakes all the way down to the southeast. Those darker colors, the brighter colors, showing us where the heaviest rain is falling. So there is quite a lot of heavy rain falling. To the southern tail, we're looking at the chance for severe weather once again. We had some severe weather yesterday, some wind reports, some tornado reports. We could see that once again in portions of the northern Gulf. I'll show you that in just a minute, but it's making its way towards the northeast into the mid-Atlantic. You can even see in Pennsylvania, we're looking at some wintry weather as well. So as we zoom in a little closer, we're looking at all that heavy rain. This is kind of pulling off the Gulf. So we're going to see that rain in place all day long. And in terms of the severe weather, we're looking at the chance for severe storms wherever you see this green. So from the mid-Atlantic all the way down to the southeast, and especially where you see that yellow, that's where we're expecting the likelihood for some strong storms. That includes Montgomery, Mobile, down to Pensacola. We could see winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour with any of these storms. A few tornadoes are possible as well. Low chance for hail, but we still could see some, and also that heavy rain, heavy downpours that could lead to a little bit of flash flooding throughout the day. That's going to cause some problems in the air. We're expecting some delays, likely in Detroit, Chicago, wherever you see the red icon. D.C., Raleigh, Charlotte, Atlanta. Could see some likely delays in Nashville, even Philly, New York, because we're going to see this really overtaking the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic over the next couple of hours. We're starting to cloud up, and then we'll see that rain coming. Now, as we go throughout time here, this is a setup. Big area of low pressure. It's a long, cold front. It has a lot of moisture with it, and it's moving off to the north and east. There's that wintry weather we're expecting to the interior parts of the Northeast and also New England. Lots of heavy rain on the warm side of this system. It's going to move off to the north and east pretty quickly. That's the good news. So today, big impact. Tomorrow, not so much. Back behind it, though, we're going to have breezy conditions, really chilly conditions. We do have the chance for some lingering showers and snow showers in portions of New England, but then it's really out of here on Wednesday. So improving conditions for so many of us. But look at all this rainfall. This is a lot, and a lot of the grounds are saturated here. So we could see a little bit of flooding, not widespread, but localized. Again, where you see those oranges and reds, that's especially where we're looking at the chance for some really heavy rain. We're expecting ice too. This is the worst when we're trying to travel because it's slick. It kind of just sits on top of the roadways. You really cannot drive on that. So we're looking at where you see the purple. That's the likelihood of seeing icy glaze, and there is the snow, especially in portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, into Maine. We could see over 8 inches in some spots in northern New England, which I don't know. I feel like that might be a good thing for those New Englanders, right? And then by Wednesday, we're looking at cool and breezy conditions back through the Tennessee Valley, the south central states, into the northern plains, soggy northwest. So that will be our next storm. But Wednesday, Savannah looking better, and Thursday, we're pretty quiet. We're going to be breezy in some conditions, but we'll talk about that next hour.
Yes, we will, and talk about the return home, right, on Sunday. All right, Michelle, thank you so much. In a bit. Well, President Biden celebrated his 81st birthday yesterday at the White House with some feathered friends. He carried out the White House's annual Thanksgiving tradition of pardoning 2 lucky turkeys. They were named Liberty and Belle. They hail from Minnesota, and Biden says they love Honeycrisp apples, ice hockey, and the city of Bloomington's famous Mall of America. These birds really got the VIP treatment ahead of their White House visit. As per usual, they shared a luxurious room at the Willard Hotel in Washington. This presidential tradition began back in 1947 with President Harry Truman. Well, a major shakeup in Silicon Valley is rocking the tech industry this morning. The man who became the face of ChatGPT was kicked out of the company he founded, but then quickly hired by Microsoft. NBC News senior business correspondent Christine Romans has the latest.
Sam Altman, the face of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, in a messy boardroom ouster.
Altman's the Zuckerberg to social media, Musk to electric vehicles. He's the golden child.
And he's out at OpenAI, the company he co-founded, the board vaguely blaming transparency. Altman and his co-founder then scooped up by OpenAI's biggest investor, Microsoft, with most of the 700 OpenAI employees vowing to walk too.
This is probably the biggest example of disaster of corporate governance that I've seen in 25 years. It's going to raise eyebrows in the Beltway. It's going to raise eyebrows in Brussels and the EU, just given how important this technology is.
It's a boardroom drama that crystallizes the push and pull in Silicon Valley, the rush to commercialize AI versus the need to go slowly to protect society from unintended consequences. OpenAI's ChatGPT is a tool that can be used to write a best man speech, a holiday recipe, even help research on a midterm paper. It even has the potential to be a new industrial revolution. Think drug development and testing, curing cancer, even tackling climate change. There's downside, though. AI has been a tool for weaponizing disinformation, impersonation fraud, deepfakes, online harassment, and consumer scams, with the potential for untold millions of jobs replaced by this technology.
It's a new frontier controlled by a small group of people, and the drama and dissent show there's no real agreement over how to proceed with a technology that is changing more rapidly than Congress's ability to understand it and regulate it. Back to you.
All right, Christine Romans, thank you so much. Well, for more on this tech revolt we're seeing, we are joined by futurist and founder of tech education company Way, Sinead Bovell. Sinead, thanks so much for being with us again this morning. So as Christine just mentioned there, hundreds of employees are threatening to resign if Altman isn't reinstated. The former president, Greg Brockman, had quit after he had been pushed out. They'd also like to see him back. First, just tell us, why has this decision provoked such a strong response from employees?
Right. Well, you can see that employees really believe first and foremost in Sam Altman as a leader. OpenAI is at the frontier of AI innovation in this decade, and Sam Altman is a big reason for that. And so you can see that that's where employees' vision and that's where employees' loyalty lies. A big portion of the recruiting efforts at OpenAI, why they've been able to pull in such strong talent, is because of Sam. Why they've been able to get the investments that they have, again, is because of Sam. So employees really believe in him. They believe in him as a leader, and they believe he is integral to the success of OpenAI. And if he's not there, they're willing to walk.
Do employees feel that they understand why he was pushed out?
Not entirely. And that is a big question mark in this corporate drama more broadly. The board, at least publicly, hasn't come out and stated why exactly or anything specific relating to Sam Altman's actions. We do know that at an all-hands meeting on Saturday, the chief scientist did state that Sam's actions potentially threatened the duty of the board and their mission to carry out and build out advanced artificial intelligence in the best interest of humanity. So we have these kind of high-level takes, but we don't have a specific reason or a specific event that the board seems to be making their decision off of.
So the number of employees that have signed this document saying, you know, we will walk out if this isn't rectified, it seems to be most of the company, actually. Does something like that mean that there is actually a chance we could see Altman return to OpenAI if the board understands just how severe this walkout might be?
Yeah, and there are a few reasons why this might be the case. We know Microsoft, who has tentatively assigned or hired Sam and Greg, has also been quite clear that that isn't concrete. And so it does seem like negotiations are still happening for Sam and Greg to move back to OpenAI. And I do think with over 90% of employees at OpenAI threatening to leave, that is existential for the company. So if OpenAI as a company and if the board wants to see OpenAI continue, reinstating Sam and Greg seems to be integral to that. But again, the board's mission is not necessarily to the commercial success of OpenAI. We know that OpenAI was originally founded as a nonprofit with the goal to bring out the most advanced AI humanity has ever seen, but for the benefit of humanity and ensuring that AI systems remain safe. And so that's where first and foremost their duty and obligation lies from their perspective. But I do think it's possible we see a return from Greg and Sam.
And Sinead, quickly before I let you go, putting a pin in the potential return, in the time being, Emmett Shear, co-founder and former CEO of a very popular video platform called Twitch, confirmed that he would be this interim CEO of OpenAI. What do we know about him, and does that kind of calm the backlash we're seeing from employees? We just have a few moments, but what do you think?
I'm going to say that it doesn't calm the backlash. Employees stated in their kind of walkout letter that moving CEO Mira Murati as the temporary CEO and putting in this new CEO from Twitch was against what they believe is the best interest of the company. We do know that he was the CEO of Twitch, which is a successful company. However, the leadership skills of any company don't necessarily qualify to lead an AI company because this technology is going to change the world. So it comes with an entirely different responsibility. And so we don't yet know if Shear has that capability.
Sinead Bovell, as always, thank you so much for joining us. Well, now let's head to Washington, where a federal appeals court is weighing whether a gag order imposed on former President Donald Trump is constitutional. This is in the criminal case accusing him of trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Lawyers for Trump and the Justice Department squared off in a hearing on the order Monday. The gag order bars Trump from disparaging witnesses, prosecutors, and court officers in the federal election interference case. Special counsel Jack Smith's team argued the order is needed to keep people safe. Trump's team argued it violates his free speech and ability to campaign for president. For more on this, we are joined by NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley. He's also the author of Sedition Hunters, How January 6th Broke the Justice System, a fairly new and fabulous book. Ryan, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. So earlier this month, the gag order was put on hold until these arguments could be heard. So walk us through how each side made their case and any indication of which way it looks like this is possibly headed.
Yeah, I think the most likely outcome is probably a slightly narrower gag order in scope, maybe opening up the ability for Trump to criticize the special counsel a little bit more, but really focusing on the threats against people who are testifying in this case overall. What the judges were sort of discussing here, as you'll hear in a moment, was as this gets closer to the election, they don't know why the court should have to wait for something to happen, given all of the indicators that we've seen about what happens to people who Donald Trump targets. Take a listen.
As this trial approaches, the atmosphere is going to be increasingly tense. Why does the district court have to wait and see and wait for the threats to come, rather than taking a reasonable action in advance?
He's a high-profile public figure who posts. Has lots and lots and lots of followers. He's expressing his views as the First Amendment allows.
When the defendant engaged in repeated inflammatory personal attacks on someone, there is a causal link between that person then receiving harassment, threats, and intimidation.
The order is unprecedented, and it sets a terrible precedent for future restrictions on core political speech.
And we have just seen this in cases after case after case where people who Donald Trump target do end up at the back end of all of these threats. He is aware, I think, of what happens to people that he targets, and that's sort of part of it. So it is this really tricky question of what exactly they can restrict, what exactly they have to allow Donald Trump to say because of the First Amendment. It's a really, really tricky case for the appeals court to hear here, and that's why it's this really unusual event, but this is a really unusual trial.
Ryan, what stuck out to you in the judge's questioning here of both sides, and did any of it kind of express just how concerned they were about the threat of political violence in light of commentary like this?
Yeah, I think that it was interesting to just hear them sort of grapple with this notion that, does Donald Trump know what happens to the people that he ends up targeting? And I think, you can't really ignore that. So, he does this little dance and is very careful in the way that he words a lot of the things. But, we've seen this time and time again, especially in this New York trial where he's targeted members of the court staff, for example, who've been on the receiving end of a lot of vitriol from his followers. And, one of the January 6th defendants actually went to Obama's house just a few months ago after Donald Trump posted Obama's address on his social media platform. The judge in this case, Judge Chutkin, has received threats herself from a woman who was in Texas and has now been charged in connection with that case. So there's a very real world threat going on here as a result of what Donald Trump posts on his social media accounts. But it really is just tricky for them to grapple with in terms of the First Amendment considerations.
All right, Ryan Riley, thank you so much. Well, Hamas leaders say they are nearing a truce agreement with Israel to secure the release of Israeli hostages being held in Gaza. The group didn't offer any additional details, though, about the negotiations. President Biden was asked about the potential deal yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
Mr. President, is a hostage deal near? I believe so, but I'm not prepared to talk to you. So? Yes. Thank you. How soon?
It comes as fighting intensifies between Israel and Hamas. Heavy gunfire has erupted around the Indonesian hospital, prompting the World Health Organization to begin evacuations of the facility. NBC News Chief International Correspondent Keir Simmons has the latest.
Well, good morning. A diplomat with knowledge of those hostage talks telling NBC News this morning that an announcement on a hostage deal may be imminent. Now, the Qatari Foreign Ministry making a series of announcements this morning in a news conference saying that negotiations have reached a critical and final stage, that we do not have a final agreement on the truce yet, but saying that an announcement of the details will be made as soon as they are reached. Meanwhile, multiple news organizations quoting sources from Hamas and Israeli sources outlining what a deal might look like. And I'm just going to look down to set out that outline for you. The idea, according to those reports, are a multi-day ceasefire with at least 50 Israeli and international hostages freed in waves, with more to follow, and Palestinians detained in Israel, women and children, released in exchange. All of this news this morning comes as the fighting continues in Gaza, in particular around the Indonesian hospital, where there is continued fighting and Israeli tanks, and many patients and doctors still trapped there. We've seen pictures of children being evacuated from the Indonesian hospital to the south, but still there are many still there. So hopes this morning, real hopes, that the president yesterday saying that he is crossing his fingers, showing that he is crossing his fingers. So hopes, but at the same time, there is still continued fighting inside Gaza.
All right, Keir Simmons, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.